Namaste, good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's episode. We all know for any disease to happen in a body, there are only three reasons. First is crap food. The food that we are eating is bad. Second is toxins. Toxins through environment, through pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, through the chemicals that we put on the skin, through the air that we breathe, through the water that we drink. And third is lack of sleep and stress. So if we are able to manage three of these simultaneously, we should not have disease, right? That's the basic concept. So crap food, toxins, and stress or lack of sleep. So what happens in a body is our bodies is a very smart mechanism, and everything in our body is connected. Okay, it's interconnected. So anything that happens at one place will have an impact somewhere else in the body. So that's something that is given, and we all know about it. Now, what happens is when a body is ideally, we should be 80% in a relaxed mode, and 20% of the time we should be in a stress. When I say stressed, means hyperactive or a mode where we are able to respond to a situation. See, as a generation or as a community, we evolved managing situations which were not favorable. Okay, so people used to be hunters. So they used to be either attacking or they used to get attacked. So people used to be in a state of being active, alert for some time of the day. Once they used to come back from hunting, they used to just relax, enjoy, be in community, and used to eat and rest and digest. So that's how our genes got developed, and that's how the entire organs have developed in the body. So there are two states where our nervous system puts us into. So our central nervous system, which is from our brain through a spinal cord to the gut, there are nerve endings. Okay, so where the signal goes from either the gut to the brain or the brain to the gut. So this is known as the central nervous system. Now the central nervous system can be in two forms. One is sympathetic nervous system, and second is parasympathetic nervous system. Sympathetic nervous system is when you are stressed or you are in a fight or a flight mode. That means you want to just go and do things. You want to achieve something. You are perceiving a threat and you want to react to it. So the blood flow is increasing in your body. And then when you are relaxed, you are not under a threat. You are not so-called hyper. That's known as parasympathetic nervous system. A parasympathetic nervous system is your rest and digest. So there are two systems in a body. One is fight or flight, which is your immune system's response to a incoming threat or what you perceive as a threat. And second is rest and digest, where you see that everything is right, there's nothing to worry, I can just thrive. So our body is designed to stay with 80% of parasympathetic and 20% of sympathetic nervous system, which is 80% of time we want to be relaxed, we want to rest, we want to digest, we want to produce, we want to enjoy life, versus 20% where we are just responding to or reacting to a situation and where we feel there's a threat to our life. Now, what happens when we are in these two states? It's important to understand this, because once we understand how being in a sympathetic nervous system or in a parasympathetic nervous system impacts the body, we can make conscious efforts to change or to switch. And we'll talk about two things that can help us switch these things easily. So when we are in a stress, fight or flight mode, that's the time where the body is conserving energy. Okay, it is using the stored energy to give you rush, versus this is the time where the body is trying to digest and absorb energy so that can be used in a later stage. So in case, for example, there is a threat, okay, and you see a threat, what happens? Your eyes, they expand. So you try to concentrate in a better manner. You focus on situation because the blood flow has increased. Versus when you're in a parasympathetic, the iris of the eye reduces. Means you're relaxed, there is nothing. Now, if you're constantly in a sympathetic nervous system, there is a constant flow of blood and pressure or vague, what you called in Ayurveda, into your eyes. It will definitely impact your eyesight. Okay. Second, what happens is salivary gland. So this is the second place which gets impacted when you are in a sympathetic or a parasympathetic nervous system. Now, saliva we know has amylase, which is a digestive enzyme. So saliva mixes with the food that we're eating, when we're chewing the food, and it starts to digest the fat and the carbohydrates. Okay, so when you're in a fight or a stress mode, or when you're, for example, you're eating dinner and you're watching something on the television which is aggressive, which is about some fight or some aggression or a war or something which is a highly debatable thing which excited you or which aroused you, the production of saliva goes down. When the saliva goes down, the food is not digested. Okay, the body is not ready to say that no, you are eating food, I will digest it, but I am sensing that there is a threat. So body cannot do two things simultaneously. It will do either fight or flight, or it will do rest and digest. It can't mix both the things together. Now your bronchitis, the air thing, pipe. What happens is when you are under a stress or a threat, when you're running for your life, when you are, let's say you are driving and you're on a road rage, have you ever noticed that you're short of breath? Because the body is not wasting energy to relax you, versus it is concentrating everything for that you to have more concentration and ability to react. So what happens is when you are under stress, the body adrenal gland releases adrenaline. Now this, when it goes up, it increases the body's blood sugar level to give you instant energy. Now when that happens, body also releases cortisol. Okay, now the cortisol's function is to go look at this sugar, bring this, control the release of insulin, which is released in response to sugar, help the body manage the issue and bring it back to normal. Okay, so cortisol is not really a stress hormone. It is a hormone released in response to stress. But what happens is when the glands are constantly under stress, they constantly release a lot of cortisol. Now the cortisol is unable to come back to normal, and then when there is more cortisol in the blood, your gland over a period of time becomes weak or exhausted or fatigued, and then the cortisol level starts to decline. And that is one of the reasons a lot of people who, after waking up, even after resting for 8-9 hours, when they come up and they say that they are feeling fatigued, they don't have energy to do things, that's where the main problem is, where the adrenal glands have become fatigued. Okay, so cortisol is not bad. Now what happens is when you're in the stress stage, your heart pumps faster. The heart is able to wants to push more blood through and through blood the nutrients, and through blood the hormones to that particular organ or that tissue or that body part, for it to help you come out of the situation. So we all know putting extra pressure on heart leads to a lot of cardiovascular diseases. Okay, and then that extra pressure is coming because we are in a stage of stress. Next thing what happens is liver. Now the liver's ability is to remove toxins, okay, and let them move out of the body. Okay, now when you're in a stress stage, there's a lot of pressure on your liver. Okay, because there's a concentration of sugar. The liver has to work extra to fix that. When that happens, the liver gets tired. When liver gets tired and your bile gets sluggish, you have all the diseases in the world, because liver is one of the most important organs that you have in your body. Stomach. Now, when you're in a sympathetic nervous system, your stomach does not do the function that it's supposed to do. The job of a stomach is to digest. Okay, break down food, digest. So stomach knows that to do that, it needs to be in a rest stage. To do that, it needs more hydrochloric acid. Now, when you are under stress, when you are under a threat, and you have, for example, you have to run for your life, the stomach will not say, no, you just ate a food, let me digest it, we can handle your situation later. That does not happen. So the body is very smart. It says, no, there is a threat, that is my priority. So your stomach, your digestion goes down. And we all know when the digestion goes down, the disease manifest starts there. So if your digestion is not right, you'll have so-called, whatever you're eating becomes a crap food for you. And if that is the crap food that you are absorbing, then you'll have disease in your body. Kidneys. The kidneys function faster because since there's a lot of toxins being released, the sugar is being released, the toxins being released, the body is under a threat, the kidneys have to function harder. When you put a lot of pressure on your kidneys, the kidneys will eventually break down and you'll have a lot of kidney related or renal disease. Then comes here, if you go down, intestines. Intestine is where the absorption takes place, and from there, what is not absorbed moves into the elimination phase. Now, if you are under stress, the body will not absorb things. The body will say, let it be here, let me handle the situation first, and then I'll come back to the digestion part. So what happens is, once you ate food, you are in the stress mode, the body has not digested or absorbed things, and then all of a sudden the situation improved and you ate more as a comfort food. So when you ate more food has come. There is already existing food in the pipeline which has not been eliminated, and then the food starts to ferment because there is a lot of sugar which is not absorbed. There is a lot of fiber which is not utilized. Both mixed together, the food starts to ferment, and when the food starts to ferment, you have disease in your gut. And we all know gut is where the disease begins. Okay, 95% of your disease are a reason because there is a dysfunction in your gut. So when you're under stress or you're in a sympathetic nervous system, these organs, these things, starting from your eyes till your elimination part, are impacted. And when they are impacted, you have what we call so-called inflammation. Inflammation, not what body is designed to have, but a chronic inflammation, a constant stage of inflammation. Now, when you're in constant inflammation, we know that I think except some few genetic disease, everything happens because of inflammation in the body. So what we need to do, that's a big question. How can we fix it? 2 tips that we'll do this week, and then maybe next week we'll start to work on it, on the other tips to manage your stress. First and the foremost thing, follow your circadian rhythm. A circadian rhythm is have a discipline to sleep on time, have a discipline to get up when the body gives you signal. You don't need an alarm to get up, okay? And have a discipline to eat at a constant time. So if you're having your lunch at 1 in the afternoon, make it a point that you have your lunch 1 in the afternoon. Remember, in the long run, your meetings, your priorities won't work. What will matter is what the nutrition you're putting. So have a body clock telling you time to eat food. Have it at the same time. Sleep at the same time. Before sleeping, don't watch television that stresses you. It might be exciting. It has a lot of movie masalas into it, but if it is stressing, do not watch it. Watch a comedy show, okay, or meditate, or listen to some soothing music, okay, or have a good massage, okay, or talk to your partner about not what they felt bad about it. Ask them what good happened to you today, okay. If you follow the circadian rhythm, believe me, your stress will go down almost by 50%. Second tip, what you can do to control stress, and that's known as prana, breathing, okay. And there are a lot of ways. So a lot of people have developed a lot of breathing techniques, but the best and the simple technique is focus on your one breath, okay. So you take a deep breath in through your nose. When you're breathing in, your stomach should come out, your belly should expand, okay. Hold it for as long as you can, and then release everything through your nose. After a few breaths, okay, start focusing on sending your breath to the particular part of the body where you are feeling agitated or stressed or cramped. So start with your brain. Just visualize that all the air that you're taking in is going to your brain, okay, then releasing it, then to your face, then to your chest, to your torso region, and to your legs and arms and the other body part. Start doing it. Over a period of time, you'll see that if you're a beginner, you'll see that your mind will wander. You will start having, so initial 5-10 breaths, you will be concentrating on it. Then the mind will think about some thoughts, something that happened, something that you're focusing on, because the mind is getting diverted. That's okay to have. Bring back your attention to your breath. So one breath, and the reason the Buddhist monks say that if you focus only on one breath at a time, you will tame the monkey that is in your brain, because that is causing a lot of challenges. And once this is managed and this is managed, you have a mode what is known as parasympathetic nervous system. So maybe 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, 5 minutes in the evening, deep breathing, focusing on one breath at a time, relaxing your body, channelizing all the energy and all the air that you're taking or the prana that you're taking into that organ of the body will do the trick of moving you from a sympathetic nervous system to a parasympathetic nervous system. So ensure that 80-20 principle is always followed in life. 80% of your efforts will give you 20% of the results, or 20% of the results are consequence of 80% of effort. Similarly, your body should be 20% into sympathetic nervous system and 80% into parasympathetic nervous system. Focus on these simple lifestyle tips. Follow your circadian rhythm. Follow your deep breathing. You should have a life which is full of vitality, which is prospering, which is producing, which is stress free, and which is enjoyable. Have a wonderful day, everyone, and we'll catch up soon. Namaste.